Hi guys, welcome to the new video. And today I want to discuss that I had an interview today. So this is my fourth interview. I told this in earlier videos that I there was an interview scheduled for Saturday. So I had it. So today I'll be discussing what all questions the interviewer asked me. So basically, in this interview, he asked me all the questions, whatever I wrote in resume. So he picked up all the points and he was asking based on that. So this is also this was something new because in previous interviews of mine, they just asked me the question on DevOps tools. Not basically like they asked me what I do and everything, and then they started asking questions. But this time in this interview, they asked me everything from resume. Like they asked me about DevOps, but they picked up one point whatever I have written, and they asked me to explain that point. So yeah, so first of all, the interview asked me like, tell me about yourself and what you do. So I started by telling that I have total experience of 4.2 years, and my first year I was into bash scripting, shell scripting, PowerShell, Groovy, everything. I automated the use cases, and then after that I started developing interest in DevOps, in which I like started learning about DevOps, and I started working on it, and basically what is my roles and responsibilities now, and how I helped in optimization by automating some use cases, and uh, how I have mentored few people. So this all I told. So then his cross question was that like how are you managing CI/CD pipelines, or what are you doing? Can you tell me elaborately like what are your pipelines, or are you just maintaining it, or have you created it? So how are you doing it? So I have to explain all the pipeline, like the steps, whatever script I have wrote, I have to tell that. Then he was like what all services you have worked on Amazon and like AWS, and why EC2 is used in your company, for what purpose it is used, and why EKS is used, and everything about this. And then he also asked me like, why are you using PowerShell for scripting? Like in few of my scripting I use PowerShell. So he was asking me the reason, why are you using PowerShell, why not Bash? So the simple answer was, we are using proxy servers as Windows, and in Windows PowerShell works, so that's why we are using PowerShell. And then you have written that you have worked on performing in optimizing the code. So how did you do it? Like how did you do it? So I told about Docker, that how I did in Docker and everything, multi-stage multi-stage Docker file and Alpine images only, and how we should use executable form for writing the commands in Docker file rather than shell form. So yeah, these all points I told, and why, and we should mention the user, as like we should mention the user while writing the Docker file. Docker file should not run as a root. And then he asked that, what are you doing, how are you what for security assessment, what are you using? So I told that Sonar Cube, it is used by our development team, and then we are also getting this option in his like after creating the image, we are getting the option to scan. So we are scanning through that. Then he asked me to write a few like what are you like, how can you get pods, how can you debug, what are the commands to debug the logs, like if there is any issue, how will you do that, how will you find out the running containers and all that. So these few commands he asked me to write. And also in Docker exec it command, what does I stand for? Interactive mode. T stand for sudo. TTY. So this he asked me and then like you have written that you have participated in DRIA drill activity, so what have you done? Yeah, what was it? So I have to explain that in that drill activity our primary site is brought down and our secondary site is made up. So how did you do it? What is Terraform? How are you using Terraform? And then yeah, so basically I guess he asked all this. Basically he was trying to know that what all I have worked on and how I have worked on, and he was picking up points from my resume. He asked me that how are you managing your project using Jira, like what is your sprint technique and everything. So I have to explain that whatever the sprint technique is being used for project management. And then at the end he was asking that why you want to switch and everything. So, and what any feedback at the end you have, if you have any questions you can ask them. So yeah, so basically this was my experience with the fourth interview of mine. And yeah, so today that's it for the video of my today. I hope it's helpful for you, and I'll update you guys as soon as, like, if I'm getting more interviews, I'm getting interviewed, I'll update you with the questions. And yeah, that's all for today. Bye bye.